guys, thanks for visiting my channel. Today we are going to be making Christmas jam. Now I know many of you are planning on doing some homemade gifts for Christmas for your loved ones and your friends. So what I wanted to do, and I kind of started it with my the video before last with the spiced apples. I started a kind of a series on holiday canning. So I'm not going to do all canning stuff, but for the next, up until Christmas, from now until Christmas, we're going to be doing things that are related to the holidays. So I have a few things for you next week that are going to be for Thanksgiving, and then I'm going to be doing some canning things that are going to be things that you could use as gifts for gift baskets for Christmas, as well as some other things that aren't canning related but could still be used as gifts from the kitchen for your friends and family. So those are the things we're going to be working on, just to kind of give you a heads up. And then at the beginning of December, I think I'm going to do kind of a collab video that kind of puts everything together for you and gives you ideas on how to put things together for gifting. So make sure you watch for that. So I just wanted to update you and let you know we're kind of in holiday Christmas mode, and so today we're going to do Christmas jam. Now I got this recipe kind of from the internet. There are many recipes floating out there on the internet for Christmas jam. So as I was sorting through recipes, everybody has kind of a different take on it. So I kind of pulled things from different recipes that I liked about each one and kind of came up with my own. So that's what we're going to do today. Most people use strawberries, but I did come across one who used raspberries instead. And raspberries happen to be on sale this week at Meijer, which is where I do most of my grocery shopping. So I thought that I would do raspberries instead of strawberries. You can substitute strawberries if you prefer. So we're going to be using raspberries, cranberries, a pear, some spices, and then and I'm going to be doing a low sugar recipe. You guys have heard me talk about this before. I like the low or no sugar pectin from this is made by Ball, but Sure Gel makes it as well. And so you're going to need either a box of the low sugar, no sugar pectin, or 3 tablespoons. I buy mine in bulk in the little canister. So we're going to be using 3 tablespoons of pectin, so you need that. And then we are also going to jazz those up just a little bit more. And at the end, we're going to toss in some Grand Marnier just to make it a little more special, a little more holiday feel. Now, if you do not groove on the alcohol, that's totally fine. You can totally leave it out. We're only going to put in a couple of tablespoons anyway. It's just going to be a little something special in the background, so you can totally leave it out. Or you could use some orange extract if you wanted to bump up your orange flavor. So we're going to get started. Okay, I brought you in a little bit closer so that you can see better what I'm doing. In my pot, I have one 12-ounce bag of fresh cranberries that I sorted and rinsed. And to that, we are going to add the juice of 1 orange and then water added to make 1 cup. So we're going to add that. And then I also have the zest of the orange. We're going to put that in. And then we are also going to add our pectin. And I need 3 tablespoons or 1 box. And we're going to stir all that together, and we want to give our cranberries a head start because we want them to pop open. So we're just going to give it a nice stir. We are also going to go ahead and add our spices here. I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of ground allspice, and 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves. Okay, now we're going to bring everything up to a boil. Give it a stir, bring it up to a boil, and we're going to let our cranberries break down for 5 to 10 minutes. Okay guys, our cranberries have been boiling just over 5 minutes, and they've started to break down pretty good for me. I also wanted to mention you want to make sure that you're stirring so that nothing sticks fairly regularly. You don't have to stir constantly, but you want to stir fairly regularly. And now we're going to add our pear. And we're going to add our raspberries and our sugar, and I'm using 4 cups of sugar. I used 1 pear and 4 cups of sugar and 2 6-ounce containers of raspberries. So we're going to stir all that in, and then we're going to let this come up to a boil that cannot be stirred down, and we're going to let it boil for 1 minute. Okay guys, there's our boil that cannot be stirred down. So we want to let it boil, and we want to stir constantly for 1 minute. Okay, our time is up. So now we are going to add 2 tablespoons of Grand Marnier. Give that a stir. And then next up, canning. Okay guys, modern canning guidelines state that if you are canning for 10 minutes or longer, you don't need to pre-sterilize your jars. So my jars are just nice and clean, and I'm keeping them hot in hot water in my sink. And we're going to be looking for 1/4 inch headspace. This is so pretty. Such a pretty jam. Once you get your jars to the correct headspace, just debubble. Okay, now this is really important, and whenever you are working with something sticky, you need to make sure that you really wipe the rim of the jar. So I always take a paper towel dipped in vinegar and wipe the rims of my jar. Okay, after you wipe your rims, you're going to place your lids. And then add our rings fingertip tight. And in the canner they go. Okay, you're going to get 6 half-pint jars, so 6 8-ounce jelly jars is what this recipe will make. We're going to go ahead and turn our heat up on high, put our lid on our canner. For those of you who are water bath canning, you want the water to cover your jars by 1 to 2 inches. You're going to bring your water up to a full rolling boil and then start your processing time, and the processing time is going to be 10 minutes. If you're steam canning like I am, you want about 3 quarts of water that is in the bottom of my canner that was simmering as I was getting my jars ready, and we are going to bring that up to temperature on my multi-purpose canner from Victoria. It has a little gauge on top that tells me when I'm in my go zone for timing. So we're gonna wait to get in the go zone and then start our processing time of 10 minutes as well. And when we get there, I'll bring you back. Okay guys, I am ready to start timing. My gauge is in the green zone, so that means I can go ahead and start my timer. So I'm gonna time 10 minutes. For those of you who are water bath canning, make sure your water bath canner has come up to a full rolling boil. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, and these are just reminders, that you don't want it boiling so hard the whole time that your lid wants to come off. So you should always adjust your heat so that it's just maintaining either a full rolling boil or just staying in your green zone for this canner. So just a couple reminders there. When our time is up, I'm going to turn off the heat, remove the lid, let my jar sit for 5 minutes, and then we're ready to see our delicious Christmas jam. Okay guys, we're all done. When my processing time was up, I turned my heat off, took the lid off, let my jar sit in the canner for 5 minutes, and now we're ready to take them out. This jam is so beautiful and absolutely out of this world delicious. I tasted it. So technically what I got, I know I told you 6 8-ounce jars, but really it was more than that, because when I really scraped out the bottom of my pan, I got 2 more 4-ounce jars. So you're gonna get 6.5, or that's what I got, was 6.5. But I wanted to show you, well, first I'll show you a close-up of this guy. See how beautiful it is in the jar. Then I'm going to give you up close. Now obviously this has not set, but I wanted you to see how pretty, see how beautiful that is. The cranberries, and you can see some of the pear in there somewhere, and the addition of the Grand Marnier. It is amazing in this jam. So I hope you will give it a try. And like I said, if you don't groove on having the alcohol, which you don't taste the alcohol at all in the jam, if you don't groove on that, leave it out. But you might want to add a teaspoon or so of orange extract just to bump up the orange flavor a little bit. But I'm telling you, this is delicious. The other thing I wanted to mention is I made the low sugar version, and I highly recommend that unless you are someone who just likes really sweet stuff, because the original recipe, and most jams are like this, if you follow the full sugar recipe, it's got 8 cups of sugar in it. You do not need all that sugar. This is really delicious. We used half the sugar, and you could probably even cut it down even further if you wanted to. I was afraid to cut it down too much because the cranberries are pretty tart. And raspberries this time of year, I know I got fresh ones, but they don't tend to be super sweet. So I didn't want to cut it down too much, but I did cut the sugar in half. So, and technically you could probably go down to even 2 to 3 cups of sugar and still have a really nice flavor. And I like low sugar jams because you taste more of that delicious fruit flavor instead of this overpowering flavor of just straight up sugar. So, and you can also use honey if you want to use honey. I know the ball fruit pectin does say you can substitute honey if you want to try that, and see how you like that. But I highly recommend using the no sugar or low sugar pectin when making jams and jellies. That fresh fruit flavor just shines through way more than all that sugar. So that's my take on that. And then let's see, the other thing I just wanted to mention is I did mention at the beginning of the video that we have some fun holiday stuff coming up on my channel. It's not gonna all be canning, but I did want to give those of you who stayed till the end, because I know not everyone watches till the end, I'm going to let you know what's coming up. So we are going to do the orange date cardamom preserves that I talked about when I went through my canning pantry. That was something that was on my shelf, and many of you contacted me and said I would be interested in learning how to do that. So we are going to do that one because I think that would be fabulous for the holidays. We're also going to do the peach rum sauce that I got off of the Ball Canning website. That is fantastic, but we're going to make it a little more holiday-ish. I'm going to add some other things to it other than what is in the recipe to give it more of a holiday flair and just make it a little more special. So we're going to be doing that. I'm going to be making some homemade hot chocolate. We're going to be doing homemade turkey stock. When I was going through my pantry, that was something that I had on my shelf, and several of you were interested in knowing how I make my stock. I do have a video on chicken stock, but I'm going to kind of update that for you, and we're going to do turkey stock. That's coming up. I'm also going to share with you a family favorite. My husband is from Kentucky, and they love Kentucky hot browns. If you've never had one of those, it's not good for you at all. But I'm going to share it because it is really delicious, and we look forward to having it this time of year. It's an open-faced turkey sandwich with turkey bacon, and it's loaded with cheese sauce. So look for that. I'm going to be sharing that on my channel and some other things. So it's not going to be all about canning, so I just wanted to let you know that those are things to look forward to. Another word about jam. Jams can take up to 2 weeks to set up properly. So for those of you who are making jams and jellies for gifts for the holidays, make sure you're making them at least 2 weeks prior to giving them away so that they're properly set before you give them out as gifts. So just a little word of wisdom there. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you have comments or questions about the jam, leave them for me in the comment section. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the fun we're having here. And I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.